before the red ball break, as Snater is in to Robinson, who just drives that one pleasantly back past Shane Snater for 4 runs to add to his total. So first runs of the morning.
Here's Harmer, comes in and bowls, and a sweep from Ackerman down towards deep square leg, and Snater can't get across to cover it up. Bowls again, and that's driven nicely there. It's over pitched and driven wide of mid-off by Ackerman for 4. Time to take 20 wickets.
Snater in to Robinson, who has whipped that one away for 4 runs.
From the Graham Gooch end, that's a half tracker, and that's gone out the ground for 6. That's into the flats. Thump. It's gone on somebody's balcony, I think.
It is.
Critchley in again, and a sweep slog from Robinson, timed very nicely there, and he's placed that underneath the covers, parked in front of the scoreboard. Harmer bowls again, and that's into Brown's hands and a catch, and that is the end of Ackerman for 73. Diving catch low to his left there. Harmer bowls, delayed it, edges, and is gone. Second ball caught at short leg by Nick Brown, and there's another bowling point for Essex. Durham have lost 2 in 3 balls.
Critchley in and Fuller this time, and slog swept a long way for 6.
That's gone on the roof of the stand and out the ground again, hasn't it, towards the apartments, and another ball's going to be needed now.
Coming back over the wicket to the left-hander Rain, who manages to inside edge that between his legs and down to the boundary for 4. As he's in over the wicket to Ollie Robinson, who slog sweeps this, and it seems like it's just got enough.
Playing.
As Critchley's in again, and a full toss this time, which is swatted away, and just the 1 bounce 4 there.
You wonder how much rests on Robinson.
As that is driven into the offside beautifully through extra cover, and there is not a fielder in sight as that sails away for 4. I think the game is really in Durham's hands at the moment, as Critchley is in, and Ollie Robinson on the back foot has managed to edge that to the keeper for 198 runs.
The way of Durham, and sometimes that happens, doesn't it, when you're in the ascendancy, you've got the momentum.
Is this time pitched shorter and hit straight up in the air. Critchley calls it and takes the catch over his shoulder as Matthew Potts is dismissed for 17.
Critchley in again, and a reverse sweep from Rain, and he's out. Caught at backward point, looking to try and push things along there. Barbecue apparently.
Simon Harmer is in, that one's flicked up and caught, and that is the end of the Durham innings. Well, he's bowled it, it was caught as it popped up.
Now the bails are off.
Yeah, bowled then for Simon Harmer. As Parkinson is in over the wicket, and Brown this time does manage to turn it round the corner and gets it away for 4 runs. The shot he attempted a couple of balls ago and didn't get any connection on.
Rain in again, and this one is flicked off Brown's legs through the leg side for 4, and that was a lovely shot. That boundary's pretty short, and I think he just strayed a little bit too straight there. And Rain in round the wicket to the left-handed Elgar. Nice and full, straight, and taking the edge of the bat, but all along the floor, and that will run away to the boundary.
Potts right arm around the wicket at Brown. Brown cuts hard at that one, and that is away for 4 to the community stand boundary. Potts bowls, Brown plays, and he's out as he's caught behind, so he was dropped a couple of overs ago off Ben Rain's bowling when he was on 10. He is out for 18. Potts gets the first wicket, coming round the wicket, down the hill. Elgar drives nicely, that's a gorgeous shot, that's away wide of mid-on and up towards the far end of the VIP units for 4 runs. Potts bowls, and that's drilled past him by Elgar. It's over pitched, and it's 4 more.
Tangible. as Rain is in, and this time flicked through the leg side. And it will run away to the boundary. I don't know if it will be cut off as the fielder gives chase. And it's given us 4 runs.
Bowling to Wesley. That's in the air, but it's safe. It's away past square leg, and there's no one out there. It's 4 runs.
As Rain is in again, nice and full this time, and driven again through the leg side by Elgar. And the Matt Potts gives chase, but he cannot chase it down this time, and that runs away for 4.
Here he comes, round the wicket to Elgar. Elgar beautifully drives that ball straight, just misses the stumps at the bowler's end, and it's away for 4, up to the far end of the ground. Siddle in, and turned by Elgar out through deep mid-wicket and away towards the marquee, nestled between the 2 sets of pavilions here.
Short leg coming into a silly point now as Parkinson continues, and that's driven out into the offside. A flashing drive, and that'll run away for 4. Hit firmly, almost as if to say
Elgar is waiting on strike, and he's edged that one. It will trickle away down to third man for 4 runs. The cricket in the sunshine as Siddle is into Elgar, and he's edged that one to slip, and he has to go. Scott Borthwick, the captain, takes the catch. Elgar is out for 40, and Essex are 78 for 2. Sirens in the distance as Siddle is into Cox, who's turned that one round the corner, and that is going to go for 4. There was a fielder racing round, but they won't get there.
It was one of the games there around about that time when I actually did a commentary from the balcony of the director's room at Grace Road. A late cut there, one-handed by Cox. He went right back into his crease. That's come off the toe of the bat. It's gone down to vacant third man for 4. Parkinson starts a new over from the river end, and that's driven hard by Cox out through the covers. There's 2 fielders close in on that offside. Scott Borthwick and I think Ben Rain, and it's gone flying between the 2.
Ben Rain to continue from the Graham Gooch end. He's into Wesley, who's stuck in the pads, and the finger goes up from the umpire. Wesley hasn't moved yet, but he'll have to go. He's been struck on the pads by Ben Rain, and that's the Essex captain gone for 24.
So 5 overs to tea. Potts bowls and is driven by Cox out through the covers and away to the pavilion side of the ground for 4. Nice shot. Get it. Potts again comes in. Cox drives, and that's 4 more. That's gone past the later at point, and that rolls down to the steps of the pavilion, bounces off the rope and nearly goes through the gate. Oh! Potts has bowled Cox. The ball's come off the ground at this end of the ground, and he played right around that. So he departs for 32, 120 for 4 now, and that was quite the delivery.
A lot of overs bowled in the middle session as Ackerman is in, and Paul Walter has turned that one round the corner. Didn't time it completely, but he's found the gap, and he gets 4 from the first ball after tea. Either 3:30, depending on who wins what, as Walter gets bat on ball this time, and cleanly so for 4 runs. Just whip that one.
And that's a short ball, and off the edge, just evading sort of a third slip, and it will run away for 4.
Ackerman over the wicket to Critchley, who's whipped that one away, and that might well bounce all the way for 6. It does. It just misses out on hitting into the Tom Pearce uppers in the middle of May, Richard, as Ackerman is in to Walter. Full toss, and that one's been put away by Walter for 4 runs. Fielders move round to deep backward square leg as Walter is down on his knee and sweeping, and that's over the square leg boundary.
Varying others doing their bit in the grand tours as this is turned off through towards mid-wicket for his 50th for Walter. And it has taken him 63 balls, 5 fours and a 6.
As Parkinson prepares for what will be the final ball of the day. Critchley just defending that back to the bowler to finish play with Essex 249.
welcome your on-field umpires, Paul Pollard and Martin Saggers.
Well, a very good morning to you and welcome to a blisteringly hot county ground in the city centre of Chelmsford for day 3 of this county championship match between Essex and Durham. My name's Glenn Speller, joined by Beth Harvey and Martin Emerson for today's play. Umpires Martin Saggers and Paul Pollard are out in the middle, and we're just awaiting the arrival of the players to get day 3 underway. A pivotal day in this game, more so for Essex, who are at the moment trying to avoid the follow-on after a bit of a comeback later in the day between Paul Walter and Matt Critchley after losing early wickets. The wickets of Nick Brown, Dean Elgar, Tom Wesley and Jordan Cox, leaving Essex at 249 for 4, replying to Durham's mammoth 587 all out. Durham are just on their way out, and the outfield already, Beth, has that sunburnt, dry look about it, and we're in for another hot one today. Yeah,
it's a scorcher. You could see a bit of few tired legs around at the end of yesterday, and I think they're in for the same today.
I parked my car this morning, and the car, last words from the car parking steward were, "I wouldn't want to be out playing cricket in this today." And I was like, "No, I think we're in the right spot." Apart when the sun moves around and blasts its way into our commentary box, but we're in the right spot here, and it's certainly a day Essex are hoping for batters, and Durham are hoping it's a day where they can work their way through. The interesting thing will come, I guess, in the game as to whether Durham enforce the follow-on if Essex don't get to that follow-on target. Time left in the game, bowlers fatigued, bowling in hot weather, quite a lot to consider really.
Yeah, and we saw Durham maybe taking a slightly different approach to Essex. Obviously 8 of the wickets of the Durham wickets falling to spin, but we saw a lot of seam yesterday from Durham, so I hope they'll be leaning on Parkinson and Ackerman to get through a few overs today. Yeah,
they could be in for a long stint. I have to say, Martin may have already referenced this earlier in the game. The conditions are markedly different from when I was up in the northeast for the game, which ultimately ended in a draw, where despite the sun being out for the 2 days that I was up there, it was freezing cold, and there was a few Essex members up there watching on that day, and went round to do an end of play interview, and a few of them were still huddled up in the stand. I said, "Oh, it's been a good day, good to get a full day's cricket." And they said, "Well, it might have been for you, but we're absolutely frozen to the bone." And they were all off to look for radiators to lean up against because it was that cold. But this is proper cricket weather. Doesn't look like we're not going to get a prompt start here actually, because Durham is still fiddling around with the field. I'll be doing an update for BBC Essex listeners at 11 a.m. So the not out bats are Paul Walter, who's made 80 off 114 balls, 9 fours and a 6 in that, and Matt Critchley, who's 51 not out from 116 balls himself, and these two doing a little bit of a repair job after Essex had been reduced to 124 fours. So Peter Siddle, well known to these parts, is going to open the bowling from this Sir Alistair Cook end, and he's going to be bowling to Paul Walter. Just the one slip in. Siddle, a very experienced operator. So first ball then of day 3, Siddle around the wicket to the left-handed Walter, who just plays defensively out to the onside, and there is no run. Peter Siddle's one of those players who will use all his skills in these conditions, I should imagine, which don't look like bowling conditions, but he has plenty of tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, he's a very experienced campaigner, and he's also played a lot of county cricket in this country. He's played a lot of cricket in Australia, so they'll be leaning on his experience here.
Siddle then turns, number 64 on his back, running away. A little shuffle he has at the start of his run into Walter now. Wristily tries to work that behind square on the onside, but only picks out the man at short mid wicket, and there is no run there. I think that's David Beddingham in there at short mid wicket. Beddingham made 65 in that mammoth Durham first innings total of 587 all out, so the deficit is 338 runs with 6 wickets remaining. So there's a lot of work ahead of Essex, and with Surrey looking like they might blow Worcestershire away, this suddenly is a vital game for Essex. Here's Siddle in again, and Walter just plays out defensively to the offside, and there is no run. Alex Lees on the offside, just running around to pick up. Fielder's very enthusiastic at this time of day, but I guess by mid-afternoon you get a little bit sapped by the heat.
Yeah, definitely. Although Alex Lees seemed like he had a second wind about 6 p.m. last night and was tearing around. So it looks like he's had a good night's sleep and he's back at it again this morning.
It's Siddle then. Into Walter. Full delivery. Walter on the drive. Wide of the man at mid-off, and will pick up the first runs and the first boundary of the morning as well, and continues the way he was yesterday with his wonderful clean hitting. 4 runs and Essex are up and running, and it also brings up the 250 as well, 253 for 4.
Yeah, Walter showing a bit more intent yesterday compared to his partner Critchley.
He looked bang at it, poor Walter, from ball 1. Coming out of the period of T20 blast cricket and into the red ball stuff. Players who play all formats just having to readjust and think about the way they're going to go about things, but Walter certainly, though, it looks as though he wants to continue to put bat to ball here.
Looks like the umpires are having a look at the ball. I wonder if it clattered into a railing or something just with that boundary, and it got thrown straight to them to have a look at.
Just going to update BBC Essex listeners into the 11 o'clock news. Yes, morning Richard, a pivotal day 3 here. Vital that Essex first and foremostly avoid the nominal follow-on target. That'll be interesting to see whether they don't get there, whether Durham do enforce the follow-on given the very warm conditions. We're in the first over of the morning and Paul Walter is up and running. Some lovely clean striking from him yesterday, and he's already driven Peter Siddle to the long off boundary for 4. He's gone to 84, Essex up to 253 for 4, but they still trail by 334 runs.
Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website.
You were right. We're going to have a change of ball.
Yeah, they weren't happy with it. Maybe they're just taking a chunk out of it down below us.
Well, down below us is the changing area for the umpires, and they leave the little gate open. And it's all concrete just behind there, so I'm wondering we're slightly shielded from it by the lip of the Tom Pearce stand, but I do wonder whether it made its way through that little gateway and hit the concrete, because immediately the fielder, who's Ben Rain, threw the ball to the umpire, so it must be a chunk out of it or a piece out of it, or it's damaged the seam or some such. But yeah, very early on here, the umpire rolls the used ball now off the field as well, so change of ball.
Ben Rain looking like he was doing the choosing there. Having a little look through with the umpires, maybe trying to sway their decision.
You know what it's like when you're out there. You know what it's like. Beth Harvey of Sussex alongside us on BBC Essex, BBC Newcastle, via the BBC Sport website and the app as well. So pause in play. We actually didn't get off to a prompt start at 11 a.m. either, so slight delay in this first over, but Siddle has a ball he's happier with now in his hand, and he's in bowling just the one slip in into Walter, who shoulders arms to that one, and it goes through behind the stumps and taken by Ollie Robinson, and no addition to the score. 253 for 4, 334 runs behind here, Essex, who just listening to the interview with Captain Tom Wesley after the first day's play, admitted that they didn't bowl very well, but I think Durham batted extremely well and took full toll of the conditions. Slight breeze blowing across the ground this morning as Siddle is into Walter once again, who works that one into the onside, and we'll pick up a very quickly taken single here, nicely judged as well. Slides his bat in, just picking out the man at mid-on, comes through for the single. End of the first over of the day, 5 runs from it, and Essex are 254 for 4. So I think we'll probably start with seam from both ends, but it'll be interesting to see how quickly they get spin on into the attack.
I think you may have spoken too soon.
Oh.
It looks like Parkinson is limbering up at the Graham Gooch end. And there is a lid that's been brought out, and Scott Borthwick looks like he's got some shin pads on.
Opening the bowling from the Graham Gooch end this morning, Callum Parkinson.
Yeah.
Callum Parkinson.
Good move, I think.
I agree. I think just towards the end of the day yesterday we saw the pitch drying up, a few puffs of dust coming up, and the spinners maybe getting a bit more value out of it. A few that just sort of took up, took off a length, a few that shot through. So Parkinson will be hoping he can follow in the footsteps of Essex's spinners and take a few wickets. Went wicketless yesterday, but he'll be hoping to make an impact this morning. And he will be bowling to Paul Walter. And that first ball is fired down the leg side, and we'll call it a loosener.
See, this time last week, the umpire would have been stretching his arms out for a wide, but we're not playing T20 anymore, so down the leg side, that's fine. Just not too wide down the leg side.
Yeah, short leg might have been in a bit of bother there if Paul Walter fancied that. As he's in again, and this time straighter and defended back down the pitch.
Just looking at the field, so he's got that forward short leg in, mid-wicket, mid-on. There is a man out on the mid-wicket fence, and fine leg is up, what you would call inside the circle.
As Parkinson's in, and this is driven straight back to the bowler, and it ricochets off the stumps, and Walter's called Critchley through for a quick single. He was unaware, but the ball is eventually picked up just in the offside, and they scamper through for a single.
I think Critchley was more concerned about sliding his bat in at the non-striker's end, because whether Parkinson got a hand on that and tipped it onto the stumps or not entirely sure. Meantime, Walter was halfway down the pitch, stopped, and then Critchley joined in, but they got it sorted out in the end. That would have been a very unfortunate way to start the day.
That's a horrible way to get out, isn't it? Run out at the non-strikers. A ricochet off the bowler's hand into the stumps. And the field just switching round here for the right-handed Critchley. And Parkinson will be coming left arm around. And that's left alone outside the off stump. Nice length from Parkinson. Bit of flight.
Yeah, a little bit of turn, but slow turn, and what you say, well wide of off stump, so Critchley could leave it alone.
Parkinson in again, and very similarly left alone outside the off stump. Maybe just finding his areas hit. He might be looking to keep it outside that off stump with the very short leg side boundary to the right hander. As he's in again, just shorter and played into the offside by Critchley, picked up at backward point, and that will end the over. Just a one run from it. Essex 255 for 4.
Yeah, just getting his sights in, wasn't he there? Parkinson, one down the leg side to the left-handed Walter, and then 3 well wide of off stump to Critchley, where he didn't really have to play whatsoever. So just want to get a bit of a tighter line, but Durham well on top here, and they will feel if they can get the breakthrough and get one more wicket, they're into Essex's middle to lower order. I mean, there's Michael Pepper to come, and he won't stand on ceremony, although his last outing in red ball cricket was an 80 odd against Kent. He's been going so well in the T20, but then you're down to Harmer, Snater, Bosch, who are yet to see bat, and Porter. As Siddle starts another over, running away from us into Walter, who just stands in the crease and plays defensively up to mid-on for no run. So all set for a full day's play here. I'm sure we will be up and down the country as well. Lancashire 404 for 4 after Kent were bowled out for just 244. Somerset going well as well, 294 for 4 in reply to Nottinghamshire's 360 all out. Into the second innings at Edgbaston, Warwickshire, Hampshire 92 for 2 in their second innings, lead by 136 runs. As Siddle is in to Walter once again, full delivery, Walter on the drive, this time picks out Ben Rain at mid-off, and there'll be no run there. And the other game in Division 1, Surrey 490 all out, that huge innings from Dan Lawrence, 175, smashed the ball to all places, although he was eventually out off the bowling of the Essex loanee Ben Allison there, and Worcestershire 155 for 7 in reply, and Lawrence has actually taken a couple of wickets in that innings as well. So Surrey looking odds on to get a victory there. Siddle is in to Walter once again, full delivery, and Walter on the drive lofts it up in the air, but it bounces in front of Rain, and he sets off and comes through for the single. 256 for 4 is the score, but a miscue from Paul Walter.
Yeah, bit of a loose shot there. I think he was maybe a little early on it, didn't intend it to be uppish, but just mistimed that, and luckily mistimed it so badly that it didn't go near anyone.
Lobbed up in the air, but well short of Rain. Division 2, Northamptonshire 279 all out against Glamorgan, and Glamorgan are 395 for 8. Derbyshire 315 for 4, replying to Middlesex's 433 all out. Sussex in their second innings against Leicestershire are 73 for 2, so already lead by 240 runs there. A Siddle is into the right-handed Critchley. He'll get a leg by here as he tries to flick that one away on the onside. 257 for 4. And up at Scarborough, Gloucestershire won the toss and put Yorkshire in. And Yorkshire totaled 456 all out. It should have been a lot more than that because there were 307 without loss, Yorkshire. 456 all out, but Gloucestershire have collapsed. 178 for 8, and probably all eyes on the captain and the coach as to why they won the toss and then put Yorkshire in. Siddle into the left-handed Paul Walter. Bowls. Walter on the drive, this time wide of short extra cover. Will pick up a couple of runs as the man on the cover fence has to run all the way around, and in fact he's had to come so far around they can take one for the throw as well. So they pick up 3 runs. 260 for 4 is now the Essex score, and Paul Walter is homing in on a second first-class century. He is 90 not out.
Yeah, much better shot that time, much more controlled. Just finding that gap on the offside as well. It's a bit of a corner of a boundary down there with the long offside for him.
Yeah, that's the longest boundary in T20 as well. A few have been caught out there. As Siddle comes into Critchley now and plays defensively out to the offside, and there'll be no run there. Just watching 1, 2, 3 of the Durham fielders have got the wide brim hat on today to try to protect neck and forehead, etc., from the strong sunshine here.
I've been looking at who's that, number 44, Ben Raines. Looks very beige.
You're saying that might be the old favourite that's been around for a few years?
I think it's been around for a few years, and I think it's seen some things.
Yeah, there's a couple out there which are nice and white, and yeah, you pick out him, yeah, that yellow hue to it, hasn't it?
A little bit nasty. And it's going to be Parkinson to continue from the Graham Gooch end as Captain Borthwick puts his helmet on to come in at short leg. We've also got a slip in to the left-handed Paul Walter, and that one's flicked around the corner by Walter but finds the man at 45, and there is no run.
Yeah, again, it just offered, didn't it? Just offered a few oohs and ahs from behind the stumps. Just offered to turn it into the left-handed Walter.
As Parkinson's in and a flatter delivery this time, and just worked into the leg side by Walter, just turning his wrists on it from outside off stump. Parkinson over the wicket, and this time just bouncing off the thigh pad of Paul Walter. To be on, hitting him on the thigh pad, it's got to be taking off a little bit. He's a tall man. So maybe just a little bit in this surface that I'm sure Parkinson will be heartened by. As he's in again, and this time defended, flicked into the leg side. Ben Rain doing the fielding. Now I can pick him out by his slightly brown hat. I'm going to know where he is all day, I think. Parkinson in again, and this time played off the back foot by Paul Walter, whipped into the leg side. And that goes out to long on, and they'll come through for a single.
Yeah, there is a bit of turn out there, but it's slow, isn't it? So if one does spit up, you would hope they've got time to play it, and the reflexes will stand the test. It's not particularly quick or sharp turn, but there's certainly something out there.
Parkinson now to the right-handed Critchley, and he's on the front foot, leaving that outside the off stump. Not troubling the scorers there. So just the one off the over, taking Essex to 261 for 4.
He's played so well this season, Matt Critchley, with the bat, given that responsibility in the middle order, and has pretty much always come up with the goods.
Yeah, going into this game, averaging 43 with the bat, and obviously taking 4 wickets in the first innings here as well, so a really valuable player for Essex.
Siddle to continue from this Sir Alistair Cook end. Decent-ish sized crowd in, slightly more Spartan than we've seen for a little while, but A, it's a work day, and B, it is extremely hot out there, so a few people may have just been put off, but there's plenty, I imagine, in the lower tier of the stands getting the shade as Siddle is into Walter now. He just lets that one go through to Robinson behind the stumps, and there is no run. 261 for 4. It's certainly not. There's a few people sat out just in front of us in the commentary box at the Sir Alistair Cook end, where you are open to all of the elements. I think it is a day for sitting downstairs and trying to stay out of the direct sunlight as much as possible.
Yeah, very impressed yesterday with a couple of Durham fans just in front of us were soaking up the sun all day. They're on their holidays down south, so why not?
You see, you could say something unkind like they don't often see the sun, that sort of thing.
I wouldn't dare with Marty in earshot.
Siddle turns into Walter once again. He just plays defensively, back to the bowler, bounces up above Siddle, tips it over the crossbar, and there's no run.
I think Siddle was deliberately trying to hit the stumps there. It was like a bit of an effortful slap, and he gestures to Critchley at the non-strikers that he nearly had him, I think, there.
He's a really, I mean, as we know from his time with Australia, etc., he's really, really competitive out there, but he's also a great guy to be around and really good interview, good to chat to as well. Just loves his cricket, has bag, will travel. Played for so many counties now, including here, as he's in and bowling to Walter. He forces up to mid-off, and there'll be no run once again. 261 for 4. It's almost like if a team gets seam bowling issues or anything, he's on speed dial. What's Peter Siddle doing? Well, he's just sat at home in Australia. He'll come out for a couple of months. Yeah, get him on speed dial, give him a ring. Fancy playing some cricket? Yeah, go on then. Whereabouts? When and where? He's that sort of guy.
Just loves bowling, I reckon.
Even on days like this. Certainly making the most of it. As he's in again to Walter. Pulled away by Paul Walter this time, but picks out the man all the way along the ground to mid-wicket. So there'll only be the single there. He goes to 92, and the score up to 262 for 4. And Paul Walter, one first-class century to his name. Hence his high score as well is 141. He's also closing in as well on 2,000 first-class runs as well. But he's watching on from the non-striker's ends now. Siddle over the wicket this time to the right-handed Critchley, who, well, placed some kind of shot. I think he was caught in two minds as to just play defensively or go through with the drive, and in the end it just bobbles away on the offside, and there is no run.
Yeah, Critchley yet to score this morning. Maybe just having a look at it, trying to get his eye in again. And ease in. We saw he was happy to wait for the balls that he could hit yesterday. A very patient knock, which is what Essex needed to steady the ship. So I'm sure we'll continue that.
Siddle turns in and bowls to Critchley, pushing away on the onside this time, but only picking out the fielder there at short mid-wicket, who's Alex Lees. There is no run. That is the end of the over. 262 for 4. A few words from Beth, then we'll bring Martin in for the first time this morning.
So it's going to be Parkinson to continue from the Graham Gooch end. We saw he bowled the bulk of his overs yesterday from the Sir Alistair Cook end. Just switching over towards the end of the day, right at the end of that final session. He's now bowling to Paul Walter, as he's in a nice full ball and driven. It's just skewed out off the inside edge into the leg side. Picked up in the ring for no run. As he's in again, and a shorter delivery, and this time turned on the back foot into the leg side by Walter. The mid-wicket boundary fielder comes steaming in, and they'll get through for a single. So Critchley can have a look at Parkinson here. He's been very watchful of him so far this morning, leaving the ball alone when he can. As Parkinson's in, a nice flighted full ball driven up back towards the bowler by Critchley. Parkinson did well to get down to that. It was hit firmly. Parkinson getting a hand on it and parrying it out to mid-off, and there was no run. Parkinson now nice and full and straight and defended by Critchley. Proper bit of cricket. As Parkinson is in again, round the wicket, and that's left alone outside the off stump by Critchley. Good morning, Marty.
You right?
How are we doing?
It's another lovely day, isn't it? It's very warm out there already.
Parkinson now just dropping it slightly short, and Critchley cutting that out into the offside for his first run of the day as they come through. So a single to end the over, just a 2 from it. 264 for 4.
I don't think if Durham were in a position here in the follow-on targets 436 to enforce it that they would, because of the heat. I think, bearing in mind there's Worcestershire coming on Sunday, that's another 4-day game that need a bit of time back in the dressing room.
Yeah, let the bowlers put their feet up.
Yeah.
Ah.
Haven't seen Ackerman this match yet, have we?
I think he bowled a very brief spell yesterday, perhaps. To no avail,
I can't
and was
remember
quickly
it then in that
given the elbow, I think.
He has had a finger injury recently, so he did. He bowled 4 overs
A short-lived experiment,
just
perhaps.
before the leader came in. So Colin Ackerman then, South African who played for the Netherlands in one-day cricket. Previously with Leicestershire, joined Durham at the start of this season, and he's going to bowl off spin from the river end of the ground. First ball's a bit of a half tracker, played away by Critchley, who's on 52, Walter on 93. Ackerman comes in again and bowls, and that's guided down towards third man. Potts comes round from point to field it. There's a couple of Durham members walking around the ground earlier in their winter coats. I said, you're the only people I've seen in coats this week. They're sitting over in the far corner. There's a bit of shade over there next to the trees.
It's brave. A coat in this weather.
Yeah. Ackerman round the wicket to Walter, whipped away out towards mid-wicket, stopped by Borthwick, who slides down on his knees. No run. Comes in and bowls again, and this is defended. There was a discussion going on the Durham forum yesterday, people trying to find out how many wickets Ben Rain had for the club. Well, going into this game it was 239 in first class cricket, so this is his 68th appearance. That's a dot ball. He's taken 1 in this innings, the LBW, to get Wesley out for 24. So that's 240 first class wickets for Durham now. Ackerman comes round the wicket and bowls. Walter turns this off towards mid-wicket. He'll go for a single as Borthwick collects it and turns and throws at the bowler's end. The ball bounces back towards Ackerman. And that is the end of the over, just 2 singles from it.
Borthwick setting the tone in the field. He's been very lively this morning. Really charging to the ball, getting it in as quickly as he can. Captain leading by example, love to see it.
Journey up from London all right this morning?
Yeah, no problems. No problems.
The local news was describing problems on some of the service around here.
As Parkinson's over the wicket to Walter, And Walter lets that run off the face of the bat, should we say. Let's not say he edged it. And that goes down to third man, and they come through for a single.
There were delays somewhere in the region because of trees that had fallen on the line.
Yeah.
Greater Anglia, is it, the service?
It is, yeah.
It was the lead story.
Oh, wow. Trees falling down. Usually that's high wind.
Yeah.
Well, there's not much wind here today, as Parkinson's in round the wicket, and that is chipped up to mid-off, and Critchley has been caught. Critchley falling for 53 on what is a rare loose shot for him. Unnecessary, and he's been very patient this morning and leaving a lot of balls from Parkinson, and a wild swing there, caught up at mid-off.
Lees.
Now Critchley was caught by Alex Lees off the bowling of Callum Parkinson for 53.
Alex Lees there doing the catching, but
Ends
didn't have much to do.
147 from 252 balls.
You feel that will give Durham a bit of energy. That partnership worth 147, just weighing them down a little bit. The first 4 wickets of the day for them falling. Few starts, but no one going on, and the resistance really coming from Critchley and Walter there in that partnership. So Durham will be very happy to have got that breakthrough.
Well, Michael Pepper, the wicketkeeper, is coming in to bat. He didn't play in the game in Chester Street. He was injured. But the deficit at the moment is 320.
Yeah, a lot of work to do here for Essex. Michael Pepper obviously has the potential to be an extremely explosive player, but they'll be hoping that he's here for the long run. And he'll be facing Callum Parkinson for his first ball. Just taking his guard. Still just the one slip in for the right-hander here. Nice tight ring field on the offside. Just one man out at deep cover. One man out at deep mid-wicket. As Parkinson's in, and this time flighted, and that's driven into the offside, slightly uppishly, but we'll get away with it. And it's fielded by deep cover, and they come through for a single. So Michael Pepper off the mark straight away. Paul Walter now, who's still there on 95, will take strike. And that's a big shot out into the leg side, aerial, but it will land safe, and he's managed to find the gap there at cow corner, and that runs away for 4, taking him to 99.
Welcome to listeners on Sports Extra. Durham have got their first wicket of the day. Matt Critchley's just departed, lobbing a ball to Alex Lees off the bowling of Callum Parkinson for 53, ending a partnership of 147 for the 5th wicket with Paul Walter. Walter is on 99.
As Parkinson is in, and this is just turned into the leg side, but finds the fielder in the ring. And there is no run. Durham there just bringing the man off the fence on the offside. I wonder if, you know, with Walter on that 99, just needing the 1 run, maybe they're trying to make it a little bit harder for him by bringing the man up. As Parkinson's in, and this is turned into the gap on the leg side, and they will come through for a single, bringing up the 100 of Paul Walter, coming off 146 balls with 11 fours and 1 6. A fantastic knock from Paul Walter there.
Well, that's only the second time he's got to 100, and he's gone past 2,000 first-class runs during this game. This is his 47th match. His highest score today, 141 against Yorkshire 2 years ago. And he did get 79 against Notts this season. Made 77 against Durham here. in an Essex win in 2021. So that's the third centurion of the match on what looks like a really good batting track.
Yeah, really well paced innings there. Just waiting for the balls he could hit, but attacking when he felt he could.
He's on strike at the start of the new over from Ackerman. Ackerman coming round the wicket to the left-hander. So the 100 coming in, 146 balls. One times 6 and 11 fours was that gone? That's gone down towards long on for 1 run. Alex Lee's fielding down below our commentary position. But long on for the right-handed Michael Pepper. Peter Siddle with a blue Durham cap on, fielding it mid-off. Got one man down in the deep mid-wicket in Michael Jones. Backward square leg. In comes the bowler again, and this is defended. It's played on the offside. They're bringing a helmet for Scott Borthwick. He's going to go in at short leg. So for those just joining us on Sports Extra, Martin Emerson with you here from BBC Radio Newcastle. Beth Harvey alongside me. BBC Essex as well. As next ball has a bit of bounce on it and is guided nicely by Walter by Pepper down towards the third man boundary. Chased from point by Beddingham, who got there and stopped it just in front of the rope. 2 runs. This is defended. It's Tuesday today, isn't it?
It is.
It's Michael Pepper's 26th birthday.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love a few runs to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, he's the second Somerset player to have a birthday during this Essex player to have a birthday during this game. That's defended. Goes to short leg, no run. Feroz Kushi, who's not actually playing but on 12th man duties, he had a birthday on the first day. I say Somerset because Michael Pepper made his debut against them in a floodlit match in 2018. So this is his 20th match and his highest score, 92 against Durham in Chester Street in 2021, in a game in which Essex won, featured those 19 LBWs, a British record. It relayed the square over the winter, and that particular track hadn't quite settled in, and there was a dead spot.
A few shooting along the floor, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's an English record because twice in games in Guyana there have been 20 LBWs.
Wow. Busy day for the umpires then. Parkinson is going to continue. Paul Walter on strike. Now on 101. They're just adjusting the field, bringing the deep mid-wicket fielder slightly straighter, which is where we saw Paul Walter hit the 4 in the last over. As Parkinson is now in, and this is swept hard and timed very sweetly, and it's gone for 4. I thought Scott Borthwick might be in a bit of trouble there.
I thought that had hit him.
Absolutely nailed it.
He's sitting down, and I thought it had whacked him right in the back, but I never saw the ball go past him, but it's gone for 4.
Let's have a look at the replay.
He's turned his back and gone down into a small target. He's fielding at short leg, and I think Ben Raines suggesting he doesn't field in there anymore.
Well, no, he's keeping the lid on. He looked like he was about to put his hat on, and then he maybe felt a bit braver and changed his mind. There's Parkinson in again, and this time defended by Walter back up the pitch.
Remember all the matches in the county championship. There's a live feed on the BBC webpage, so you can see what's going on all the different games. Everybody chipping into that.
Parkinson in around the wicket and just flicked into the leg side, but collected very swiftly by Borthwick at short leg. On the bounce, I might add. Parkinson full and floated, and that is driven by Walter. Manages to find the fielder on the deep offside boundary, and they'll come through for a single.
See, you've gone for a different plan of action today and you've covered your arms up.
Yeah, I was having a good old think this morning. Felt like I was cooking a little bit in the window yesterday, so I thought I was just wearing a black t-shirt. Maybe not the best choice. I've gone for a white long sleeve number today. Parkinson into the new man, Michael Pepper, and this is driven into the offside. Finds short cover and there'll be no run.
Is it one of this year's designs from Paris, is it, or something like that?
Yeah. That's, as this is an audio format, let's say yep. Very expensive too, of course. As Parkinson is in, and a drive from Pepper, just tempting the shot there, but he misses it. It beats the outside edge of Michael Pepper and goes through to Ollie Robinson for a dot.
Bit of bounce on that one.
Definitely a bit of bounce on that one, and the shot in hindsight looked pretty loose from Pepper. Maybe just looking to assert himself here. We know he's an attacking player and he can give it a whack. He likes to play his shots, but maybe he can put that one back in the locker for a little bit.
I think on the BBC feed earlier on there was a question they were asking: are you allowed to have an ice cream before lunch on a hot day at the cricket? As Ackerman started you over here from the river end, Walter back into his crease defence, and I mean, the ice cream guy here is doing a blinding business. What did you pay? $3.50 yesterday for a 99?
Yep. Small cone with a flake.
Yeah, if you can go for the larger one, it's a $5 or something. Ackerman in again. Oh, that's gone right through. Played a miss there from Walter. It bounced over the stumps. Quicker delivery.
I think an ice cream before lunch is acceptable.
You think it's acceptable, do you?
Yeah. I'm all for it.
In comes Ackerman again. He angles that in towards middle and leg. It's played back to him along the floor by Walter. Breeze is coming from the northeast today, judging by the flag in the far corner. Ackerman in. Bit of drift on that one, played away by Walter to range, short on the offside. So we were talking about ice cream yesterday, weren't we? The varying companies, Italian ice cream manufacturers in the northeast. In comes Ackerman. He bowls to Walter. That's played out through deep mid-wicket for 1 run. I think Peterborough has a really big Italian population, which is linked to the end of the Second World War. Lots of Italian prisoners of war ended up settling there.
Have you ever had an ice cream in Peterborough?
I can't remember the last time I was in Peterborough. Probably not, because it was for a football match in the middle of winter, so I doubt it.
Yeah, that is.
Pepper on strike now. Talking of food substances. Ackerman to bowl to him. Pepper forward, gets an inside edge, but it trickles away on the leg side. End of the over. Just a single from it. So Essex 282 for 5. Trail Durham by 305 here on the BBC. Julia Wetherell's email. She says, "Good morning, Martin. Dad and I are enjoying the fine commentary. Your discussion about Sunderland ice cream vans takes me back to my childhood and having Giraldi's ice cream sandwiches with my grandma and Grandad Wetherell. No doubt other ice cream suppliers would have been available at the time. Best wishes, Julia." So anyway, we think officially you're allowed an ice cream before lunch at the cricket in hot weather like this. Davy Fenix being on, he says, a strange shot from Matt Critchley, like a golf shot, he said.
Yeah, it did seem very out of place within the innings he was playing. Very patient, tempered, and then that loose shot out of nowhere. As Parkinson is in now to Walter, and that's defended into the offside, and Ollie Robinson will do the fielding. As Parkinson is in, nice and full, and that's just driven up to mid-off for no run.
Sheila King has emailed. If you want to email, weatcricket@yahoo.co.uk or at Marty Cricket on the socials, the old socials.
Parkinson in, full and straight, and defended by Walter. Parkinson steams in to do the fielding. A bit of pep in his step there.
There's a little bit of cloud drifting in now, isn't there, from the west? It was absolutely cloudless sky earlier. Some aeroplanes heading south.
Parkinson in and defended again by Walter. Get the impression that Walter is happy to stay there and wait until there's a ball he feels he can get away safely. Parkinson in, straight and turned into the leg side by Walter, but finds the man at short mid-wicket. So 5 dots so far in this over for Parkinson. He'll be looking to make that a 6th. As he's in, and this is driven straight up towards long on, and they will come through for a single, ruining the figures of Parkinson, bringing the score to 283 for 5.
So Sheila King has emailed. She says, "Hi Marty, lovely to hear you on Sports Extra." She said, "I'd like to wish you a very happy birthday for Sunday. Best wishes from a co-birthdayist." Mine has a 0 at the end. She says, "Well, happy birthday to you as well." A co-birthdayist.
Twin.
An interesting one. Yeah, Sunday also day one of Durham at home to Worcestershire.
No better present than that.
Trevor Owens is coming up to commentate on that one from BBC Hereford and Worcester. There was a Worcester link last year on my birthday because Durham were at Worcester on June the 30th last year playing in a T20, which got abandoned because of bad light. And umpire Martin Saggett here has produced from his pocket a new corky. So 80 overs gone, 283 for 5, and Durham take the new ball, which is not a new ball. It's replacing an older ball which has been replaced about 3 or 4 times already, because at least 2 went out the ground for 6s. One's hit the concrete this morning and got dented. But the official new ball, 283 for 5. So Ben Rain into the attack as a result of that. 240 wickets then he's got for Durham, I think I said earlier. Comes in and bowls. Walter leaves the first delivery, angles past the stumps and then cuts down towards the leg side to the keeper. Yeah, 240 wickets in first class for Durham. 1 so far in this game. Deficit at the moment 304. Walter on 108, Pepper at the other end on 3. Walter putting on 147 for the 5th wicket with Matt Critchley, who's the only wicket to fall this morning, caught by Alex Lees off Callum Parkinson for 53. Rain around the wicket from the Sir Alistair Cook end, whipped away by Walter out towards deep mid wicket past the Leda Fields with his back to the community stand. 1 run. There's 1 person on a balcony on the 3rd floor in the apartments at the far end.
Just having a look.
That's a Juliet balcony where you don't actually go out onto a balcony, it's just a little railing, is that right?
That is right, yeah.
Whereas up to the left as we look, the apartments in the next section, they've got really big balconies with lots of furniture on them where you can come out and sit and watch the cricket. A few plants and stuff up there as well. Nice spot. Changes in the field here. Lees has come across from the leg side to mid to cover, and Beddingham's dropped from cover down to backward point. Michael Jones has come up from deep wicket to mid wicket. Got a slip and a gully. Rain in, and Pepper cuts, and that's gone out to Deleda on the cover boundary for 1. Chris White's tweeted that was a really poor shot from Critchley. He's given his wicket away on a flat track with no danger at all to the batsman. He'll be kicking himself, and rightly so.
It was almost as if rush of blood to the head. Parkinson sort of gave one a bit more flight, and he felt he couldn't resist.
Rain balls. Walter just plays this safely on the leg side, no run there. Useless Durham stats. Says as a side note, Ben Rain claimed his 27th Tom yesterday. That's when he got Tom Westley. Rain round the wicket. And Walter plays that to Bedingham at mid wicket. So Walter had a toe injury, didn't he? Was it toe? Is that right? Yeah. And he's only played in 2 games. So he got that 79 earlier in the season against Notts, and a 33 the last county championship match that Essex played at Canterbury. Last ball of the over. Rain bowls. Walter turns that out through deep mid wicket and stopped by the tumbling Deleda. 1 run. I say run, he's that tall, he's just walked to the other end.
Yeah, I think he's been conserving his energy, we would say, throughout this innings. Looks like Potts will be taking the new ball from the Graham Gooch end.
Just a reminder, England will play India and Guyana on Thursday afternoon in the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. There'll be commentary on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds from 3:15. You can ask to listen on your smart speaker these days as well, but technologically advanced. It was overly complicated, as somebody explained to us, some patch you needed to add to your smart speaker. But I presume if you're going to be listening on BBC Sounds, you've probably already used BBC Sounds. That would be my theory.
Matthew Potts then will be in to pole Walter, coming round the wicket to the left-handed batter, as he's in on a length, and that is just worked off the hip of Walter down to fine leg, where the ball is fielded by Ben Rain. The batter's come through for a single, so now everyone's switching round for the right-handed Michael Pepper. Couple of slips in here. The captain, Borthwick at first slip, and Ackerman coming in at second slip. Ackerman dropped a chance at second slip yesterday, so he'll be hoping to redeem himself. Well, it wasn't too costly in the end.
8 runs, wasn't it? It ended up being.
Nick Brown, I think. As Potts is in and defended by Pepper. The grunting Potts, he loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, Brown was on 10 when he was dropped at second slip by Ackerman. Sorry, on 12. And then he cost 6 runs. He was out a little bit later on. So that was off the bowling of Rain.
As Potts is in a fuller ball this time outside the off stump, and that really whizzing through. Didn't get up very much. Robinson taking it behind the stumps. Yeah, Potts loves a grunt, doesn't he?
That's just the ball when he's putting that a bit extra effort in.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, and you can tell he's got that attitude where he just wants to be the person to make a difference in the game, and he really runs in hard, bends his back, and gives it everything he's got. As he's in again here to Pepper, and that is defended straight back up the pitch for no run. I must say as well, he looks sharper than Ben Rain at the other end.
Yeah, I mean, Rain's medium quick, isn't he? But he's skiddy. He's a sort of Paul Collingwood bowler. Ben Rain, really.
Potts steaming in now, and that's defended by Pepper, and it skews off the outer half of the bat to point.
Potts and the England keeper Jordan Pickford both went to the same school, St Robert of Newminster in Washington, not too far from the ground at Chastity Street. It's got a very good sports section there.
Pickford is he loves it as well, doesn't he? Gets right up for it when he's playing, so maybe there's a common theme there between those two. As Potts is in, just back of a length to Pepper, who defends it on the back foot. Trickles out into the leg side, and there'll be no run, so that is just the one off the over. But Potts with the new ball. Essex 287 for 5. They'll be looking to negotiate this period here with the new ball. We've seen early wickets fall in both innings. On a good pitch, just hoping to capitalise on that early movement from the new ball. So a crucial period here for Durham.
Ben Rain, ball in hand. He's got his back to the media centre. He's at the river end of the ground, the River Can running through behind us. The Chelmer just a little bit further out of town, just on the ring road, comes in a little bit further north through the city of Chelmsford. Bowling to Walter, right arm round. Walter plays that up to mid on, no run. To Siddle, I think it is. Went down to the pub on the sea wall at Haybridge Basin last night, which when I cycled past the night before had been shut, but I was hoping it'd be open last night, and it was. And it was a lovely evening there, sitting on the sea wall looking across the estuary. We got the menu, seafood platter. I thought, well, I'll spoil myself. Sorry, we don't do evening meals till Thursday. So that was a bit of a disappointment. As Rain's, loopy slow one, spotted by Walter, turned off to, it's gone for 4. It's gone straight through the hands of Parkinson down at long leg. Must have had a little bit of spin on it. He went down towards his left, and it's gone straight through his hands for 4. A bonus boundary there. Wasn't expecting that. He's fielding in the shade of the little stand in the far corner, the community stand, which has the roof on. About 8 rows of seats in there.
Parkinson maybe just not picking that one up and not judging that right.
In comes Rain, and that's driven past mid-off and away for 4. Nice shot by Walter. 2 4s in a row there. I said yesterday afternoon when he came in, he looked so composed. I said he was here for the long stay, and indeed he is, and has been. What's he faced now? He's on 119 from 172 balls at a strike rate of 69. Pepper at the other end on 4. Essex 295 for 5, so they now trail Durham by 292. They've just gone past the halfway mark there. Durham's innings yesterday, 587, their highest against Essex, included 198 for Ollie Robinson from a 209 balls and 73 from Ackerman, 65 from Bedingham as this ball thuds into the pads, and there's an appeal from Rain, but it's not given. Martin Sagers says no.
That was, in my opinion, much too high. I'll have a look at the replay.
Looks to be going down the leg side, hits his thigh pad, and he's about 6'7", isn't he?
Yeah.
Might be taller than that. He looks taller with the helmet on. So.
It looked very high, but the Durham fielders looked like they'd been robbed there. I thought it was a clear not out.
Rain bowls again. Walter slams it back past him, and that is away for 4. Nice shot, slightly overpitched, possibly just drifting towards the leg stump as well. So 3 4s from the over. That Durham innings yesterday and the day before. Bedingham got 65, 113 for Alex Lees, and nearly a double century for Ollie Robinson. His top score, 198, caught behind, and it looked like he was going to get to a double 100 for the first time. Walter's signalling for a drink. It is coming up to midday, so I'm going to have to ship out in a mo. Got to do an update for Radio Newcastle.
Just in and amongst that, they have taken one of the slips out. Ben Rain started the over with 2 slips in to Walter, and after the second boundary he was swiftly pulled out and popped into the leg side as Rain is in, and that's defended back up the pitch by Walter to end the Walter. Looks like he's calling for something else as well, maybe a pair of gloves or some tape for his hand, perhaps. I'm trying to judge his the mimes he's doing to the fielders on the boundary. Looked like he was, I'm going to say tape.
Well, it's been warm, isn't it? So a drinks break is good reward for everyone for their efforts so far. Durham will be pleased. They've got that breakthrough and they've got rid of Matt Critchley, but Paul Walter just continues to go on and on and on. Big fan of Paul Walter. Plays in all formats, contributes in all formats, and is a big player in this Essex middle order as well. As Martin was mentioning earlier on, he had that toe injury earlier on in the season. Picked up here now. If memory serves me right, my memory's not great this season because game's running. I'm pretty sure it was here against Kent.
It was.
It was, yes. Oh, you were here, weren't you?
I was
here.
Yes.
I
think I maybe cursed him or something.
Was he trying to pull the ball away or something, wasn't he? And picked up an injury, and we were all wondering what it was. And then kept him out for quite a while in the end.
Yeah, nasty one.
But a good cricketer, say, started with Essex as he came up through the ranks with Reece Topley, and then released, went away, played some club cricket with Hornchurch, came back into the Essex fold, and we thought sort of a seam bowling all-rounder, but has turned himself into a middle to top order batter and can play all formats, plays in the 100, where apparently for his 100 team he is the social secretary. So he's not the quiet, shy guy that he maybe comes across in interviews, and he plays out in the Big Bash as well, where he's a very popular figure. So he's a really handy cricketer in all formats and a good player to have in your team, and he's doing a great job for his side here. Just put a piece up on the text feed on the BBC Sport website. Don't forget you can follow all the county games, not only the commentary but the live reporting, the live text feed, which the guys have got going today as well, so you can pick up all the latest from all the grounds. Just put up a piece around there where a certain Graham Gooch, Essex and England legend, would then say once you've reached 3 figures you need to go on and make it a daddy 100, which means you need to get a big 100, and Essex do need him to go on for his side here. 299 for 5. So a big deficit still, 288 runs behind with 5 wickets remaining. If Durham could wheedle another one out before lunch, I think they'd go in content and then start to maybe turn their minds to what they're going to do. Beyond that, a little bit of a breeze is coming into the box, which is welcome. So drinks break is over with. Wandering off with those crates of bottles, the 12th men, respective 12th men of both sides. 2 slips in now.
Maybe trying to cut that one, and it just came back into him a little bit. Ended up looking like it cut him in half slightly as it flew.
And Parkinson this morning, but slow turn. But a couple did just bounce up, but no real sort of spitting up or anything like that. But there's something there, just every now and then.
Yeah, and with this new ball in play as well, they'll be hoping to find a little bit of sideways movement as well. As Potts is in, that's bowled. Michael Pepper bowled, top of middle stump. Potts bending his back there, grunting through, and Pepper has to go for 4 runs.
Well, that's taken middle stump, hasn't it? And just squared up Pepper. I just wonder from his reaction whether he feels that's kept a little bit low, but it's a really rapid delivery as well. So it's taken middle, possibly middle and leg, but yeah, middle is the one which is laying just at a bit of an angle, tilting backwards, but that is a huge wicket for Durham to take. Pepper makes just the 4, and now Durham are into the Essex lower to tail order now. Simon Harmer, the T20 Blast captain, is next in. Critchley for probably an injudicious shot, and Pepper there. Just be interesting to see that on the replay if our screen was working. But brings Simon